Everyone, and welcome back. Mayor Phil's just been held up, so I'm holding the seat for a wee while. I'm just going to hand over to Bede and Peter for an update of where we are at. And so, gentlemen, we're in your hands.
Thank you, Councillor Scandrett, and good afternoon, councillors. Over the lunch break, we've convened briefly, and I think the sense is that we have a good indication of where the Mayor's recs, with some exceptions, and we'll talk to those very shortly, specifically have landed, and that will get them built up and into a report to come back. But the areas where we have identified that more information, and we'll bring that back in order for some further discussion, is around the events ecosystem, the Innovation and Sustainability Fund, the Heritage Grant, the parking charges in Hagley Park, incorporating the heritage rate into the general rate, the same as incorporating the active travel rate into the uniform annual general charge, that's the UAGC, and the use of subvention credits. So that's on Friday. We will bring that information back. Between now and Friday, tomorrow is transport. On Friday, there's also Three Waters, and so will be brought in under separate cover from these other ones. And then I was going to hand over to Peter to explain a little bit about where the process goes from here. There's an amendments process, there's an audit process, and right at the end, of course, there's an adoption process. So that's in a very quick summary where we think we've got to. It was just before I hand over to Peter, we could have run some of the numbers, but they wouldn't have had the quality assurance and the checking and making sure they all add if we were to try and hurry it through within an hour or so. So we're wanting to present it once and present it correctly.
Thank you. And just for those live streaming, there are 5 councillors zooming in. So, there's more of us than you think. So, okay. Peter, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Bede. Look, I know process is a little bit dry, but I do want to help make you clear on what's happening from here. We'll send out communications as well, but just as an introduction, 2 processes, the amendments process and the adoption process. Amendments, the process, as Councillor Templeton has already spotted, has opened today. If you go to the same place in the hub where you lodge questions in the Q&A tool, there is a button for amendments there now. Please distinguish carefully between the two because amendments will be treated differently to questions. So that amendments process is open till the 31st of May, at which point we'll get everything out to staff to provide commentary. There may be financial, legal, risk or other implications. We'd like to get them back to you before the adoption meeting so that everybody's on the same page. As usual, complex amendments that are received very late will struggle on the day of adoption because your fellow councillors won't know what the thing costs or what its liabilities might be. In terms of adoption, I should add, with the amendments, there is a tentatively scheduled councillor workshop on the 11th of June for you to workshop amongst yourselves the amendments in terms of what's supported and whether some are duplicates and so forth, that you have your ducks lined up on how the amendments proceed.
Peter, do you want questions at the end?
Yes, please,
okay,
if that's all right.
Cool.
In terms of adoption, you broadly know the process, but I'll just step you through it again. We start supplying Audit New Zealand with content for their review on the 4th of June. That finishes on the 7th of June. We must have audits review in order to adopt an LTP. That doesn't preclude your amendments. Those of you who've done this a few times will remember that on the day the council adopts the draft and the Mayor's recs, and then opens to amendments which are then debated. They're not necessarily covered by the audit review. So that doesn't mean that the audit dates preclude you from having amendments. So we supply final product to Audit New Zealand on the 7th of June. That's a negotiated date with them. They will provide their review back to us tentatively for audit and risk on the 20th of June. So we get a heads up of how they see things. Remembering that they've done their big review and that they really should be reviewing the changes that we're making to the LTP. And then we receive their review formally for the adoption meeting of the 25th of June. We adopt their review, assuming it's favourable. We then adopt the draft and Mayor's Recs, and then move to amendments. So that's the process and how it flows. I realise that many of you are familiar with this already, so sorry for the repetition. That's really about it. I mean, I'm certainly happy to take questions on the process side, but I should say to finish that we have a shorter window than we normally do because of the prolonged period around the draft.
Thank you, Peter. And Sarah, your question.
Just a quick one. So there's been a difference the last couple of times we've done this amendment process. The first time we did it, maybe last LTP, staff ended up, so councillors sent in potential amendments or what they wanted to achieve, and staff helped work out wording that would make it a viable amendment.
Yes.
And legally able to be put, kind of thing.
Yes.
Last time we ran into some issues with that where people were just told actually that amendment's not valid, rather than working through what might be valid in as much detail. So for example, the one I put in earlier, I don't know the exact numbers and how that works because I'm not staff. So I put in what I wanted to achieve in an amendment, if that makes sense. Yeah. And is that okay for the process?
As long as we've got enough time, we'll help people put forward a amendment
that's capable of being put.
That's capable of being put,
and achieve
we
what you
will
want.
actually also, where possible, give you a good indication of what about the rating impact.
Well, that's what I've asked for as well. Yeah, with the advice that goes with it.
we will aim to provide information so that it's as clear and
because we need the information. Because councillors need to have enough information for it to be put.
yes.
Yeah. Advice. Yeah. Thanks.
Any further questions? Any from online? No? I believe that's...
No, all good. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Go for it. No, all good? Excellent. Well,
No, I just said all good.
great. Thank you.
So,
Well, I think that concludes today's and
Oh,
excellent.
sorry, one from me.
Oh, there's always one, Jake. Come on.
Hey, I probably missed it while I was snacking on some lunch, but what was the ideal cutoff for staff? When are you looking to have these in? Amendments, I mean.
31st of May for amendments is the ideal date. Obviously, anything later than that, if it's significant, it's difficult for staff to respond with the quality we want to do. So ideally, 31st of May. By then, at the pace we're going, the recommendations will have been clarified and you should be able to frame any change that you want to see to that.
Easy peasy. Thank you.
Thank you. So everyone's got that? Excellent. Thank you very much. Now be adjourning the workshop. The next workshop opens to the public, will be held on Friday the 24th at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.